Just before we get into today's review, I guess actually technically yesterday's review, I would just like to say that Friday's winner was Alpha Dog, Saturday's winner was Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, and then I put the poll up between Bounty Killer and Deliverance for Sunday, and Bounty Killer won, so I will be reviewing that, and on Sunday I'll decide. I might try to get some footage on this weekend for a vlog, but if not, I'll put up another poll, Deliverance versus something, I'm not sure what. Because when I do polls, I try to make the movies kind of clash, like as I would like the way I think. Like I try to put two movies head to head that are fairly similar in storyline. Or at least I think that's what I tried to, like, that's what I'm trying to do anyway, so that it kind of makes it easier to vote, because I don't want to put like a comedy movie against an action movie, because then it would, you know what I mean. Anyway, without further ado, let's oh sorry, before I do that, I am still reading this book. I think I might do this review in a two-parter, because I'm getting close to being done the first part, or the first book, and it is two books in one. So I think that's what I'll do. I'll review the first book first, and then I'll review the second book later on down the road once I've finished that. And I might actually just read the first book first, and then read this, and do a review of it, because I have seen the movie. So I'll kind of do like a comparison video for that. And yeah, so without further ado, let's roll the intro and get into this review. So yesterday's review, Monday's review, was of Night and Day, and I don't even think I've taken it out of my DVD player. I haven't. So let's go do that. This review is going to be a little bit more interesting, because I do have to take this movie out of my DVD player first. And then I'll just put Godzilla in, because Godzilla is today's review. So get that in there. And I already have one of Wednesday's reviews done. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So just bear with me. Terribly sorry. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Alright. Okay, so Monday's review was of Night and Day with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. These two did an excellent job in this movie. So, basically it's about a girl who's in the wrong place at the wrong time. She bumps into this guy named Roy. And, sorry, I'm just going to pause this, because that would be annoying. She bumped into this guy named Roy at the airport, and you don't see this till later in the movie, but he actually swaps boarding passes with her, and is able to get onto her flight, because some bad people are after him, and he knows what flight they're going to be on. Anyway, she ends up getting on the same flight as him, and she falls in love with him basically at first sight, which actually worked for this movie, because it was perfect. So she goes into the bathroom, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose in the plane. He kills everybody on the plane, sets them back up in their seats, and when she comes back out of the bathroom, he tells her what he's done, and she thinks he's kidding. So she's laughing it off, and then he goes into the cockpit and starts flying the plane and rapidly descending it. And anyway, the plane crashes. He drugs June, is her name in the movie, and drops her off at her house the next day, and tells her not to get into a car with anybody. Well, she disobeys that order and gets in the car with the agents, and the agent who has blackmailed. Jeez, why can't I think of his name? Blackmailed Roy, and yeah, so they're flying down the freeway, and then all of a sudden they're getting riddled with bullets, and they find out that it's Roy chasing them, and there's this huge highway scene where Roy's jumping from car to car, and first he's on a police motorcycle, so that scene was really cool, and then he lands on the car that June's in, and he's already killed the two guys that are in the car with June, so she's like driving from the back, and the guy's got his foot stuck on the gas pedal, and yeah, that scene was really well done. I don't know how many of you know this, but Tom Cruise does all his own stunts, so kudos to those guys, and I guess Cameron Diaz does a lot of her own stunts too, because a lot of the driving in this movie was done by them and not a stunt double, which makes the film seem much more real. Now, I know some of this was CGI'd, and sometimes you could tell in parts, but this was still an excellent movie. So I would highly recommend going to see this, because I would give it a 5 out of 5. These two worked really great together, and I'm glad that they do all their own stunts, because that makes up for, like, yeah, you don't have to pay to have a stunt double, and that just makes it a film so much better when actors do their own stunts and want to get involved and things like that. It just makes it, you connect more with the movie, I feel. Anyway, so where was I? Anyway, he's stolen this thing. Well, he hasn't really stolen it. I guess technically it's stealing, because he's stealing from the agency that trained him and he used to work for. But basically, he's actually protecting it from the guy who's gone rogue and wants it for himself. But they think he's the bad guy because that's how this agent has painted him by blackmailing him. So he's basically finding all the bad guys, hunting them down one by one, and taking them out so that he can be free. So he has this little battery called a Zephyr, which is a very powerful battery. It can power a small city. And it was created by a kid named Simon, and that's who he's protecting throughout the movie. So that Simon can create or work on and create one that actually works, because this throughout this movie, this battery keeps getting hotter and hotter because it's actually deficient. There was something wrong with it. So it actually ends up blowing up at the end of the movie and killing the double agent in a plane as he's flying away. And at the end of the movie, Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz are finally together, because she takes him out of the agency on a hospital bed, pretending that he's dead, taking him to the morgue, and yeah, they end up driving away. Off into the sunset, basically. But this story, I know a lot of movies don't really work where it's just like, oh, the whole love at first sight thing, but this movie definitely worked that, because it was full of action. So she's falling in love with him basically because he's protecting her, and yeah, that was basically the reason she fell in love with him, I would say, just because. Yeah, he's very suave in this movie, I guess you could say, and there was plenty of action in this movie. It was funny in parts, that's for sure. I didn't really peg Tom Cruise as much of a comedian, but he had quite a few funny lines in this movie. So it's nice to see diversity, even though this is still an action movie. There was still more diversity with Tom Cruise in this movie, I found, than any other movie in the past. Like the Mission Impossible series. Apparently there's another Mission Impossible movie coming out this year, so I can't wait for that. I guess this is going to be the last Mission Impossible movie. I think they said that with the other one too. I'm not too sure whether that was just a rumor, but I guess this is the final. I guess, judging from the trailer, all the other Mission Impossible movies have brought it to this moment. So that's where I will leave off this review. Like, comment, subscribe, leave your rating and what you think of the movie if you've seen it below. And if this review helps and you want to go see the movie now, well then leave a comment to let me know that. And I will see you guys again, well, basically tomorrow, but later today, because today's Tuesday, with a review of Godzilla. Bye-bye for now.